Central Division, the Bulls are still trying to shake the
Football should not be taken for granted. The owner of 5 NBA championship rings and the title, the greatest ever basketball player. There is nothing he hasn't done and nothing he can't do. For once, the hype has to be believed. On NBA Raw, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls take on the Miami Heat. In Chicago, the hottest tickets in town are still for the Bulls, but what has been one of the most successful runs in NBA history may now be coming to a close.
I'll say it one more time. If Phil's not in Chicago, I'm not playing. Now, so it's nowhere.
Well, Coach Jackson is leaving the Bulls at the end of this season, so the show will not go on. As amazing as it sounds, Mike could be hanging up his Air Jordans and leaving the NBA. If he does, he's going out in style.
Whose game is it? It's Michael Jordan's game.
But Chicago isn't all Mike. Scottie Pippen missed 35 games at the start of the season through injury, but since his return to the cast, the Bulls are looking like their old selves, and they currently hold the best home record in the league.
By Scottie Pippen.
And Dennis Rodman has a new character. Usually typecast as the devil, Dennis is making a play for this year's best supporting role. So the Bulls look like they're on target again, but there is hope for Miami in Chicago. Only a few weeks ago, the Bulls uncharacteristically lost a home game to the streaky Portland Trailblazers.
MJ almost had it. Stoudemire trying to take advantage, kicks it out. Ryder would be a big three. Oh, yes, it is. Big time three.
But despite the odd glitch, Chicago are looking healthy and hitting form at the right time, so perhaps the dynasty can do it for one more season. Pat Riley's a man who knows all about NBA dynasties, and at the moment, he's trying to create a new one. During the 1980s, Pat picked up 4 championship rings with the Showtime LA Lakers. Now at Miami, he's got 2 all-stars to work with in Timmy Hardaway and Alonzo Mourning. No rings yet for Miami, but the Heat are hungry. Last season, the Bulls crushed them in the Eastern Conference Finals, a loss that, despite being painful, has motivated them for this campaign. Right now, Miami are currently top of the Atlantic Division and hold the best road record in the league. They've won their last 11 away games in a row.
And the Heat continue to pour it on.
So it's the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, the Miami Heat versus the NBA reigning champions, the Chicago Bulls. But what do you reckon, Dave Lewis? I think it's all about this fella, don't you?
Everybody knows how good Jordan is on the court. He's got 5 titles to back it up. But remember, he didn't do it alone. His supporting cast has made his life easier, and nobody has been more helpful than Scottie Pippen. What makes Pippen so dangerous? He knows when to strike. On this play against the Knicks, Pippen shows his agility. With his long arms, he steals the ball and keeps the ball in bounds. And then his dribbling skills take over. He could go for the 2-pointer, but Pippen smells blood and shoots the 3-pointer instead. Now that's a dagger play. Pippen can do it all, while Steve Kerr does one thing well, and that's shoot jump shots. He can launch 3-pointers from anywhere on the court. This gives Jordan an outside option, and he has plenty of confidence in Kerr, especially after he hit this shot in last year's finals. If all 3 of these players click offensively, Miami's going to be in trouble. Never mind offense, the Bulls will have their hands full on defense with Miami center Alonzo Mourning. He's been red hot since the All-Star break. Chicago doesn't have a quality center, so look for Miami to push the ball into Zoe on the inside. Mourning likes physical play. On this move, he gets inside, bags off a defender, hits the shot, and gets fouled. That's typical Mourning, man. And this year he's added a move to his repertoire. The Heat like to move the ball and find Zoe camped in the middle for his baby hook shot. But you can get into Zoe's head and disrupt his game. And nobody does it better than the Bulls, especially Dennis Rodman. We'll see if Mourning can stay focused for the entire game. Ron Harper is one of the steadiest players on the Bulls. He's totally money on defense. The Bulls better not leave Dan Marley open. He loves to stroke the threes for Miami.
With me for today's game, I'm delighted to say 24/7's very own NBA love man, Mr. Scoop Jackson is back.
What up, what up?
Nice to see you, fella.
What up, baby? What's
Now
happening?
tell me about these here balls. Are they the balls of old?
Yeah, maybe. You know, Scotty missed the first part of the season. That kind of hurt him a lot, so people kind of got shook. Scotty's back getting into his groove, and now they're getting everything back in contention again. And yeah, bottom line, they're still the best team in the NBA. Everybody knows that. And in case they forget, you know, Mike Jordan will remind you
He is
anytime.
out there, of course he is.
Right.
How far has Pat Riley brought the Miami Heat now, would you say?
Good question. I think they come a long way. This is a big game for them. You know, if they show improvement, they can beat the Bulls at home. That means a lot to them, especially if they have to play the Bulls in the playoffs. They can hold on to this game and say, look, we know we can beat them at home. They need this game. Alonzo Mourning is back. Timmy Hardaway showing improvement. You know, Dan Marley's doing his thing. If they get it all together, you know, for this game, that's cool, but can they do it over a 7-game series? That's the question they need to answer.
So when Miami come out strong today, do you think the Bulls are going to respond?
Yeah, I think they're going to respond. I mean, they had a game against the Knicks, you know, as much as it's a big game for Miami, the Bulls still don't like to lose. So, you know, they like to protect their home court. I'll still roll with them. I'll roll
Go with the Bulls.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. It is a big game. It's here in the East. It is Miami and Chicago. Well, the Bulls started off in typical fashion. Dennis Rodman picked up a technical foul and Michael Jordan began his masterclass. Unfortunately for Miami, Michael seems to be in the mood. He notched up 16 points in the first quarter. We pick it up at the top of the second. The Bulls are up by 8.
If you watch Chicago in person, I think the thing that strikes you most about this team, watching them in a place like this, is how easily they glide and maneuver within this set pattern. And as Kerr puts up a 3.
Boy, it looks like Steve Kerr has been playing all year and he did miss a game. He walked in the Garden the other day and made 2 threes in a row, and he walks in here and makes another one.
No player in the history of the NBA has a higher three-point shooting percentage than Steve Kerr. Nobody. Leonard for 3. And Mourning fighting off Klein inside. Mourning draws the foul. You can see that a mile away.
So we opened with Tim Hardaway and we opened with Alonzo Mourning. And you can see here on the foul here, they want Alonzo to get any foul he can. That's a big plus when you can get him in foul trouble. I think the key for Miami is Vashawn Leonard. When they blew the Bulls out in Miami, Vashawn Leonard had a huge game. Tonight, he's struggling. The more he scores, the more defense Michael Jordan has to play, less rest for Michael Jordan.
Well, Leonard gives him that outside shot, which, of course, as anyone knows, would open things inside for players like P.J. Brown and, of course, Alonzo Mourning.
Shooting is so important in this league.
And even more so now with the three-point line moved from 22 feet to 23.9. Pippen trying to drive. It's Kerr to Kukoc. Picked up by Strickland. Nice spin move by Kukoc. Faking one way and dancing the other.
He's so much better when he has time.
Brent Berry for 3. He loved to shoot outside. Chuck Bushler in to begin the second quarter with Klein, Kerr, Kukoc, and Pippen. Jordan resting with 16 on the bench. Kukoc to the right.
This is time for caution early in this game for Pat Riley. And you can see he just stood up. He's going to call a timeout.
The Chicago Bulls have hit their last 7 consecutive shots.
And take a look here at Tony Kukoc. When you give him time, he is pretty good with the basketball. This is how he's used to playing in Europe. The triangle, he's not allowed to handle it much right there. That's just too easy. Tony Kukoc going around Strickland. Miami must play better defense.
It's Bushler. A little bit shy. Pippen cleaned it up. Berry clamped him inside and draws the personal foul.
So if you notice, Brent Berry is playing at the 3 spot. I think he's going to play more minutes at that spot, but right now, Scottie Pippen is just too tough for Brent Berry down on the post or on the boards.
Berry picks up his first foul. He'll lead. Eric Murdoch comes in now. And he'll be on Kerr. Here's Pippen with the spin on Marley, and Scotty just bobbled it and fumbled it out of bounds.
Yeah, he did, because he had a layup there and lost the basketball.
3 turnovers for Chicago. And Miami's got 4, all in the first quarter. Murdoch out to Hardaway, takes it inside, back to Murdoch. Watch the arc on his shot. They say he's got the highest arc of any player in the NBA in his shot.
And they're right.
10 consecutive misses for Miami. Klein, Bulls have hit their last 7. And there's a shove and a foul inside on Bushler. He's got one.
Michael Jordan taking the line for the most, replacing Chuck Bushler.
Bushler, who struggled the first 3 months, that extended arc, now is getting the hang of it. There's been a wonderful weapon with Kerr sideline. Now here comes Hardaway going into traffic into Mourning, knocked away by newly instated Michael Jordan. And a whistle blown inside.
But big play. This is what they want. First of all, you can watch the defense from the Bulls. They are not going to allow three-pointers. Look at all the help. That's 3 guys coming. But that's what Tim Hardaway has to do, is create offense for others, and that's what he just did. That's what Pat Riley needs from Hardaway tonight, more than his points.
And he needs a free throw or two from Mourning. Mourning has just 3 points so far as Hardaway will check out. And Leonard re-enters the game.
But, you know, you watch Alonzo Mourning play, and so far tonight, I don't think Dennis or anyone else has gotten to him. He's just not playing well right now.
Rodman still on the bench after getting the first quarter technical. Mourning is 64% from the line, and there's a good look at Dennis, who started tonight again in place of the injured Luke Longley. Pippen and Marley, Kerr and Murdoch, and Kerr threads it inside. Joe Klein knocks it down.
Every point from their centers is gravy. Every single point.
Because that is one area they go into every game thinking they're not going to get much.
No. Luke Longley, though, will give them some.
He's having a career year, over 11 points a game, the highest of his career. Mourning from outside, Mourning from inside. He can't hit either place.
No, but he should stay inside. Too many shots outside for Alonzo when he has a huge advantage inside.
Pippen to Kerr. 8.5 to play here in the second quarter. Chicago hitting 58% right now. Jordan the spin.
Oh, wow.
Michael Jordan with 20 points.
And he's feeling it. When he caught it, he was talking. Now, you remember in game 2, Sean Leonard did all the talking at the end of the game. And I'm telling you, Kevin, this is what this is about right now. Michael Jordan is punishing him for those words.
Triple team. Jordan knocks it away inside. This is a different Chicago team. Earlier in Miami, 99-72, Jordan in Chicago humiliated by Miami. Tonight, it's a different face they wear against the Heat.
Yeah, well, everyone has been talking about messages except for the Bulls, but they're doing it right now. What a great block by Michael Jordan.
Approaching 8 to play now in the second quarter. That's knocked out of bounds, and 6 seconds on the shot clock.
But Michael's been talking all game, and I wish the first game they played or the second game they played this year was Sean Leonard did a lot of talking at the end of the game, and Michael Jordan remembers. He doesn't need much to get him going.
Leonard trapped into Mourning, and that's what Miami needs more of as Murdoch gets Mourning for 2.
They need guys dribble penetrating and kicking for other shots.
That breaks an over 8-minute drought without a field goal for the Heat. And a whistle inside.
See, now Leonard's getting a little frustrated, so he gets the foul. But you can see the smirk on Jordan's face. Now watch Michael. He's talking right now. You can see his mouth moving. Makes the shot and does a little bit more.
Michael continues to do that little bit more, scoring his marker for Sean Leonard at every given opportunity. He's now on 23 points. However, Vachon has picked up some points of his own. This long two helped the Heat's cause as they rallied late in the half. By half-time, Miami managed to reduce the deficit to a one-digit figure. So 53-44, it's a 9-point lead for the Bulls, and no doubt about it, Michael is hot to trot tonight. Mind you, the Heat haven't really warmed up yet, and you can imagine that locker room is going to be like a furnace when Pat Riley gets Miami back there. To find out what effect he's had, join us for the second half.
United Artists presents the ultimate battle between good and evil. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jeremy Irons, John Malkovich, Gerard Depardieu, Gabriel Byrne.
He and the king are identical. My twin, a fact which has kept him alive until now.
The Man in the Iron Mask.
A McDonald's hamburger for just 59p. Or a McDonald's cheeseburger for just 69p. Two great reasons why you can enjoy more at McDonald's.
The Telegraph's massive free auction starts this weekend. To take part, get the brochure in this Saturday or Sunday's Telegraph. Collect the tokens and make a free bid.
Oh, peckish. You're always peckish. That's because you're still using these fish heads and those slippery little sand eels. Look, love, why don't you try something different? Like this crunchy biscuit that's all chocolatey through and through.
Thanks. Can we go on stage now with Sally?
You see, when you're peckish, pick up a person.
Oh, they're so cute.
Do you want a flake in that, love?
Sorry.
The ambassador's receptions are noted in society for their host's exquisite taste that captivates his guests.
好吃极了.
Excelente.
Monsieur, with Ferrero Rocher, you're really spoiling us.
Ferrero Rocher, a sign of good taste.
So it's 53-44. Chicago have that lead. And Scoop, we talked at the start about how Miami would come out and really give it some. They didn't really do it, did they?
Michael could take the wind out your sails real quick. You know, Michael dropped big points in the first quarter, kind of helped the second quarter, but he still throws a dagger in you. Like we said at the beginning of the game, Michael will remind you, know, who's God when it comes down to playing that. You know, Mike started off the game hitting jumpers, so, you know, they kind of took the sail out of Miami. They couldn't do anything after that.
Now, I mentioned earlier on that Pat Riley probably had a few words to say with the team at halftime. What do you think he was telling that team in the locker room?
Timmy Hardaway, get some assists. You know, Timmy got like 1 or 2 assists at halftime. He's scoring, but he needs to get the ball around to get all his teammates involved for them to do what they need to do. That's what's going to be the difference. If you tell Timmy pick up the assist, hustle, you know, get it out to them, it'll be a different second half. But unless that happens, then it looks the same.
But Miami did close that gap there. They've got within single points. That's a good thing.
Yeah, they were getting blown out in the beginning. All of a sudden, they closed it in. So that's encouraging to them. If they can follow up and do that and keep Michael out of the game as best they can, then they got a chance to make a run. But the way Michael's shooting, man, I don't know.
Well, you never know. But we can see now because we can go to that second half action.
Jordan, Rodman, Kukoc, Harper, and Pippen begin the second half for Chicago. Longley out with the injury. Rodman starts his 4th game at center. He does have 1 T tagged on him already. Here's Pippen, who's looked very smooth in the first half. Jordan again, that same move we've seen over and over and over again.
Well, the problem is, you know, they want a double team, but he's too quick. He's not like a center who catches it down low on the post and has to take his time. Michael Jordan is so quick, it's tough to double team, and that's a tough turnover. What is more importantly is what I call the lag after the turnover. Everybody on Miami quit and start looking at each other.
So now 4-0 beginning for Chicago.
You can see P.J. Brown. I'm trying to get there, but he couldn't get there.
Leonard with the morning screen on Rodman. Kukoc fought for it and collected by Rodman inside. With a minute gone, Chicago has built their lead back to 13. Pippen inside, rejected by Mourning, who then tells Scotty to get it out of here and a foul call.
Well, they're talking a lot to each other. And look at this. You know, obviously it looked pretty clean to me. You can see it down low, and now Mourning's doing some talking also. Tough to talk, though, when you're down 13.
Absolutely. 2 fouls now on Alonzo Mourning. Scottie Pippen, along with Dennis Rodman, have said the Western Conference might be a viable option for next year. Both free agents, so that's a possibility. Pippen has always been, I think, more suited, in fact, to the West's more open style of play.
Is there any player in the NBA who's going to be a free agent who has not said he wants to play for Phoenix?
Right.
It's amazing.
Hardaway for 2. That was a big basket. No, Rex Chapman wants to play down there. He gave up bigger offers around the league to stay in Phoenix and play for close to the minimum.
It must be nice there.
Pippen, what an easy move. Pointing inside, Scottie Pippen. Pippen now with 15, Jordan with 25. Hardaway in traffic. Tapped in volleyball and picked up by Michael. He's back on defense. Leonard gets in on Jordan. Michael goes right by and takes it inside.
That's too easy. He's a great player, but that's too easy. And I guarantee you Pat Riley is hot about that. That's exactly why he's calling this timeout. He doesn't like plays like that. Watch Scottie Pippen here. Tim Hardaway just stands and waits and lets Scottie Pippen scores. And then this is just too easy. Michael Jordan, a easy free layup is not good when you're the other team. That's why Riley called a timeout.
It's 30s, and like we said before, kicking time in the teeth. And here comes Leonard. By Jordan, into Mourning, guarded by Rodman. Shot clock at 3, out to Marley for the triple. Rebound by Leonard, and a big snag it was. Miami tonight, 3-point shooting, 0 of 8. Will it be 0 of 9? Right there, the first triple knocked down. Marley knocks it.
You kind of assumed who would make that 3 for Miami. The one thing Marley will do, he'll keep shooting them, and that's good.
He's in the top 10 of all time, is Dan Marley.
Thank you.
And after missing 8 in a row, Miami finally connects on their first. Chicago hitting half of their 3-point shots.
And that's a direct contrast in how the seasons have gone for these two teams. Miami has shot great from the 3-point line all year. It's an important weapon for them, and it's not going well for them right now.
Foul was called on Leonard. 3 minutes gone here in the third quarter, and here comes Hardaway accelerating by Harper to the rack, and he comes up with 2.
Miami is down 11. Every time they cut it, it seems like a big play from Chicago. But I think Miami is still in this game. You can sense them wanting to make a run. So far, they just have not been able to do it.
Well, they've got to send that message you were talking about. Harper for 2. Rebound hauled in by Rodman. He's got 4, coming off an 18-rebound game this weekend. Kukoc in mid-flight. Tony Kukoc rides the magic carpet inside.
He's gone to the quickness fountain today. That's the 3rd time he's made it to the basket off the dribble.
8.5 to play in the third. Wide open P.J. Brown, as everybody was magnetized toward Marley.
But right now, Miami is starting to score easier than they did in the first half, and that's a good sign.
It's all about rhythm and tempo.
Yes. They never had rhythm in the first half.
Well, Chicago, to their credit, took them out of it. But now, Miami has had to tweak their offense a bit. And the rhythm, and gaining that rhythm, may be a byproduct of Riley's halftime. 3 to shoot, Kukoc and Pippen unaware of the time on the clock, and a 24-second shot clock violation.
And once again, you can see Michael Jordan saying, shoot the ball, Scotty. Right here, he does, and no help. This is so uncharacteristic of a Pat Riley team so far, watching guys drive the basketball with no help.
Down by 11. Hardaway for 3. Rebound Mourning, down.
And quick timeout.
After that timeout, Dennis Rodman stepped up. This red basket extended the Bulls' lead, much to the Worms' delight, and then Dennis did what he does best. He frustrated the opponent's offense. This swat on Dan Marley's layup continued to keep the pressure on the Heat. And as always, he still had time for a little chat with his friends.
And Phil Jackson is getting him out for a reason. When he walked by the bench, you can see Tex Winters saying, hold it up, Dennis, calm down a little bit. They want him in the fourth quarter. He forgets sometimes that he already has a technical.
2:45 left. Free throws in Chicago now by 14, 75-61. Miami has won 11 consecutive road games. Their last loss on the road February 1st. Leonard to Brown, the former New Jersey Net, trying to go up and was handcuffed and fouled. The rebounding is leveled off too. Scottie Pippen picks up the foul, but look at the rebounding in this quarter. It's a difference in the game of 4, but in this quarter, Miami +1.
And that's a big plus, because if you can just stay even with Chicago, that's a good sign.
Rodman's on the bench with his 8 rebounds, 6 of which were brought in this quarter. And another foul.
Another way that Miami has stayed in this game is on the free throw line. They have a commanding lead going to the foul line so far in this game.
Pippen picks up his 3rd. Jordan on the bench. He's got 27. Murdoch flies by Kerr. There's that high arc on his shot. A miss and a Kukoc rebound. Two to play in the 3rd. Chicago shooting 54% for the game. Kukoc and Leonard came in. Pippen outside. Shot clock with 5, and Scottie Pippen knocks it down.
But once again, all the different ball handlers for Chicago. That ball touched 4 different guys, and all were great, strong, hard passes.
19 for Scottie Pippen. Murdoch again. Brown. Mourning. Triple team. Spinning. Up and off. Rebound Mourning. Knocked away by Klein, and a foul on Chicago.
But Joe Klein can afford to do that. He doesn't worry about fouling out or saving fouls. Alonzo Mourning had a layup. Joe Klein fouled him, and that's what they want.
That's the 4th on Klein, and here's Alonzo Mourning back to the stripe. And there's Longley. Bad knee, sitting out his 4th consecutive game.
Yeah, he's upset because he can't use his fouls. He wish he could transfer them.
This morning, speaking of bad knees, Alonzo Mourning had some surgery just before the preseason was out as Brent Berry checks back in. But Mourning's knee looks to be completely rehabbed and hale and hearty.
Yeah, I think he's healthy. You know, everyone talks about everyone else's injuries. I don't think any team has had more injuries than Miami. Yet you look at their record and just say, wow.
4-time All-Star Alonzo Mourning, who began with Charlotte, came in the Glenn Rice trade, and now he's in his 3rd year with the Heat. 14-point game. 1:30 to play in the 3rd quarter. Leonard works on Pippen. Jordan on the bench. Outside Klein, left open, maneuvers it on Brown. Hits the side of the backboard. Another rebound from Mourning, who hauls down his 11th. And he's got the double-double. Outside to Brown. Rebound, Mourning. Taken away by Kerr inside with a minute to play.
At the last minute, Scottie Pippen got his hand in there on Mourning.
Klein on top, bringing out Mourning. Pippen finds Kerr for 2. He's incredible.
He is. And he is Kerr and Pippen.
He has missed almost 7 weeks with a broken collarbone and comes back in his 2 games, and it's like he hasn't missed anything. His stroke is as pure now as it's ever been. And now we've got some shoving and a technical foul.
Well, Scottie Pippen and Alonzo Mourning have been going at it for about 6 minutes. And that time, Scottie Pippen did not appreciate the pick. And you'll see it, Scottie Pippen coming off defensively, and watch the elbow by Alonzo Mourning.
Miami, Alonzo Mourning.
And here it comes right here.
Yes, right in his chest.
Yeah, you're going to get that. But again, that is not Alonzo Mourning losing his cool. That's Alonzo Mourning trying to play physical. And though that's a bad foul, I don't think Riley really minds that.
double technical, one on Pippen and one on Mourning.
Yeah, you can see it out there. And, you know, you can see him going at it for about 6 minutes. And Alonzo Mourning saw that as his best opportunity to go at him. What's more impressive, if both coaches took both players out of the game to give them a rest.
Shot clock at 13, big clock at 19, winding down the third quarter. Chicago on top by 16 points. Shot clock at 4, Kukoc in traffic, up and down, Tony Kukoc.
Tough matchup for Eric Murdoch, guarding Tony Kukoc down on the post.
Leonard to Murdoch, trying to beat the buzzer, and does with the 2.5 left. Kukoc, good if it goes from midcourt, and he comes up shy.
So, at the end of the third quarter, it's the Bulls in front by 16.
This is the very latest Suzuki. It comes with 75 years of engineering expertise. The handling is responsive, so too is the performance. From 10,570 pounds, the Baleno from Suzuki.
Make a splash this weekend with a 3-part guide to transforming your home. To DIY for, starting in this week's Sunday Times.
The Best of the Doors, double CD, only $13.99. Track it down at our price.
Where's Bert? I can't play without him.
Have a seat here. First, make sure they haven't seen this show. Do you like Penn and Teller on Channel 4?
Yeah, figure it.
Good. Now, just ask him to name a number between 5 and 10, please. 7. Okay, as though he didn't know, I show him how to count down 7 with the 3 of clubs on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Look at that card, and then put it in the deck. Okay, my friend, go ahead. I know he's going to pick the 3 of clubs, but I want him to remember it. Stare at that card and memorize it. Okay, put it back on the deck. Now I'm going to fail on purpose. Let's just see. Is this your card? Let him gloat a little bit. You're going to win the war. Let him win the battle. I guess I'm kind of a loser, huh? Well, my friend, let's do something else fun. Let's watch TV. I turn on the videotape recorder at the same time.
Financial news. The stock exchange had a quiet day with the Financial Times index up a couple of points. On the foreign exchanges today, the pound rose to its highest point this year against the dollar. It also finished up on the day against the franc, the mark, and this just in. Is this your card?
Pretty good, huh, my friend? Okay. You know how to force a card. All you need now is that piece of videotape, and we're going to run it for you now. So get your fingers on the button.
Financial news. The stock exchange had a quiet day with the Financial Times index up a couple of points. On the foreign exchanges today, the pound rose to its highest point this year against the dollar. It also finished up on the day against the franc, the mark, and this just in. Is this your card? Meanwhile, in Downing Street, the Prime Minister spoke out against the rise in violence on late-night television shows. Both terrestrial and satellite TV recorded a 10% year-on-year rise in incidents of a violent nature.
That's it. Keep the